get the countries kind of self-sufficient in the production of energy, especially for transportation and for the industry. In Brazil, we've been investing in bioenergy for a long time, and we have our matrix of energy here is pretty much using renewable energies. And this is a very important point here for us. At this moment, we are having some problems with the water level of the reservoirs for hydro energy. But for sure, the other kinds of renewable energies are being even more important now in the country to participate. We have about 40% of our grid of energy here from renewable energies. And bioenergy is about 16% of our grid of energy here in Brazil. We started the program for ethanol in 1933 here in Brazil. It's a very, very old program that we've been working since then, investing in this kind of technology and the infrastructure for this. As a test pilot, my old career in the Air Force, I had a chance to fly even an Air Force airplane using ethanol as the fuel for the engine of that airplane. And this is important to emphasize how Brazil has driven the fuel here in Brazil to the ethanol and other biofuels here. In 1975, the government started a program that we call Pro-Álcool or Pro-Ethanol here in Brazil. And nowadays we have 381 ethanol plants in Brazil, and they are able to produce about 35 billions of liters of ethanol by year here in Brazil. And we use a high percentage of ethanol in our fuel. For 18 years, we've been working in flex fuel cars here in Brazil. And they are the majority of the cars running in Brazil at this moment. Also, we have several other technologies that we've been working in this ministry in terms of bioenergy and also renewable energy as a complete strategy here. For example, we have a program called biofuels or bioenergy here that we work together with the Ministry of Energy and especially in some of our research centers. Actually, we are creating a new, at this moment, we are creating a new center for renewable energy in northeast of Brazil, in Campina Grande city. And this center will be responsible for developing technologies for solar energy, wind energy, also hydrogen, green hydrogen energy. So they are working in the front end of the technology, trying to improve the technology existent in those areas, as well as creating new technologies. In terms of bioenergy and biomass, if you look at our plants here for ethanol, they use completely sugar cane. When I say completely, everything is used from there. So to produce alcohol, sugar cane, also they use the biomass to produce energy. So and the technology for this is being improved year by year. So we are getting better and better plants and systems for producing ethanol in Brazil, what gives us the possibility of having ethanol in I say, in a very cheap and also very efficient manner. And we know that the combination of biofuels with electrical in cars or buses or trucks, this is a way of going. And so we are also working with batteries using niobium and graphene. So development of better batteries that can be used. Also, we are working with batteries of sodium with the Itaipu Energy Park, technological park in the south of Brazil. We've been developing this kind of batteries, and we have already some prototypes running with the electrical, using those kinds of battery and ethanol and other biofuels, by the way. So at I don't have much time here to talk. We have several different technologies, but we have a center which is called the National Center for Energy and Materials in Campinas. It's connected with this ministry. And we have already a partnership with India through this center. So what I would like to propose is to improve this partnership so we can share technologies, we can work the companies, because this is an institution that can work directly with the private sector here in Brazil. So we could even have the partnership between companies here in Brazil and India, and with the help of this institution in terms of high-end technologies, we can for sure help India, and also getting the help of the technology of India here in Brazil. As I said at the beginning, I'm really impressed with the technology of India. I remember my time in NASA as well. I had the chance to work with several engineers from India, and I really admire the quality of your professionals in India. And for sure, we can connect our research centers, we can connect our production sector or the companies, India and Brazil. And you can count with the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations here, the government with Brazil, and with me personally to help for this cooperation to be improved even more. So India is one of our preferred partners here in Brazil. President Bolsonaro always say about this, the importance of our partnership with India, and for sure, he also is going to approve and to help us with this cooperation. So thank you very much. Count on Brazil, count on the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, count with our technology here to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ponte, Minister. Great story from Brazil. And what a fascinating journey on biofuels for your country, and many, many learnings from your presentation today. And we really deeply appreciate your sharing this with the audience which is present here today. You've joined us very, very early morning in Brazil. So real effort. Thank you very much. And you have made some very valuable comments on thoughts on partnership at the B2B level as well as at the B2G level. I'm sure our Honorable Minister would also refer to some of the points that you have made. But at this point in time, I would also like to once very warmly welcome the Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Sri Nitin Gadkari ji. Very, very warm welcome to you. And it's an honor to have you and your kind presence and participation at today's conference. We have always looked at you as our guide, and we really admire you for preempting industry to take some very important and new challenges, find solutions that business need to get going and business need to do big. And your leadership and passion definitely on infrastructure, but on green and sustainable solutions, on energy, alternate fuels, is known to all of us. And and you really speak from your heart when you speak on this subject. So it's so fantastic to have you here. So, sir, today's theme is Farm to Fuel, Sustaining Bioenergy Solutions for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And Honorable Minister, we keenly look forward to your vision, your advice and guidance, particularly against the backdrop of India's aspiration to be Atmanirbhar in the energy sector. And India's leadership in this space is indeed commendable. And we have seen your leadership on this very important area. Sir, this is an annual flagship event or a forum for the industry, for CII, and it really aims to engage all stakeholders to promote bioenergy in the country, facilitate technology, R&D, and conducive ecosystems to really attract investments and to ensure overall growth. Brazil is a partner country, and you heard the Honorable Minister from Brazil just make this beautiful presentation. And tomorrow, sir, we will have full-fledged sessions with Brazil to be addressed by certain experts. We also have US as another partner country. And again, there will be a separate session on US tomorrow. And at this summit, we have many other focus sessions like the CBG, CBG technology, state policies, and many other issues. And at this point in time, Honorable Ministers, both of you, we have more than 800 key industry, very senior members attending from India as well as from certain other countries, which really shows the great interest in the bioenergy sector. At that, I'll really turn to our Honorable Minister, Sri Nitin Gadkariji. But I must say another few lines, sir, for your because of your very special association with this subject. Your views for India to aggressively shift to use of alternate fuels, ethanol, methane, biodiesel, has given birth to many initiatives today by the central as well as the state government, and encouraged all of the people in the industry to venture into this area of alternate fuels. I'll just take one recent example. When you recently launched the bio CNG run tractors, we have millions of tractors using diesel, which affects the environment so strongly. Your leadership will really make a huge difference to the energy sector with this particular launch. And so you have also been advocating for use of alternate fuels for construction equipment, which is another industry that can make a phenomenal difference. So I can go on, but with many examples, your personal push for higher ethanol blending and flexi fuel vehicles, really something that will make us in the country move away from fossil fuel to more green and clean energy. Great honor and a great privilege to have you with us. With that, I invite you and request you, Sri Nitin Gadkari, our chief guest, to give the inaugural address. To have you with us. With that, I invite you and request you, Sri Nitin Gadkari, our chief guest, to give the inaugural address.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Mr. Marcos Pontes, Minister for Science and Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil, Mr. Tarun Sawanthi, Co-Chairman CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General CII, all distinguished dignitaries, invitees, and all my dear friends. I would like to thank CII for inviting me to address this session on Farm to Fuel, Sustainable Bioenergy Solutions for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And this is really a very loving subject for me, which is touching to my heart. From last 15 years, I am constantly pursuing this. So it is really a great opportunity for me. And here our Science and Technology Minister from Brazil is here. And really, it is a role model for the world, that the way in which they develop the ethanol, bioethanol, and the way which they are using it for the automobile industry. At the same time, they are reducing pollution and they don't need to import crude oil. That is really a great achievement as far as the Brazil is concerned. One of the suggestion, Chandrajit ji, for you, that you should have this SIAM organization, Automobile Manufacturing Association. And here I will suggest CII to take 8 to 10 days tour of all these automobile manufacturers in India to Brazil, and to study and making research of all this alternative technology, which is alternative fuel, biofuel, bioenergy, which is available. On the basis of that, it will give a new vision for our industry, and you are taking the initiative in it. I am really happy. I am giving my special thanks to you. I am happy that Mr. Marcos Pontes, Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation, Government of Brazil, is here today in this session. The Minister has shared the experience of Brazil in the use of alternate fuel and flex fuel technology, which are very much useful and relevant to the Indian context also. Both Brazil and India are stepping ahead on the sustainable energy roadmap through technology transfer and sharing our experiences. We can surely establish a self-reliant energy ecosystem in our countries. The theme of today's session resonates with the role of the bioenergy sector in addressing multiple energy needs of the power, fuels, and heat with the locally available, nationally adaptable solutions. We all know that the globally bioeconomy is evolving through innovations and developing technologies for producing widely affordable bio-based transportation and industrial fuels. India is one of the fastest growing economy, leading through sustainable and climate neutral development. We strongly believe that society should be livable, workable, and sustainable for all, with an important focus on ethics, ecology, and the environment. India is committed to meet the Paris Climate Agreement, where efforts are centered to reduce carbon emission by 33 to 35% by 2030. While the government is focusing to create an investor-friendly ecosystem to promote domestic manufacturing, parallelly we are also giving importance to infrastructure development. And the National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP, a first of its kind initiative to provide world-class infrastructure across the country, has been expanded to cover more than 7,300 projects with a planned investment of $1.4 trillion by 2025. The Government of India is also developing various industrial corridors projects to enhance India's competitiveness by the creation of quality infrastructure ahead of demand for attracting investment and fascinating India as a strong player in the global value chain. The rapid urbanization and growth in infrastructure as well as the manufacturing sector have greatly fueled the demand for our transportation sector. Today, India consumes about 30% of the world's oil and petrol diesel needs. And unfortunately, our energy demand is heavily import dependent, that is 85% for crude oil, 53% for gas and 24% for coal. We are spending over $160 billion on their imports. Further, India is the world's third largest emitter with the 3.6 gigatons of CO2 equivalent across all sectors. These issues have a huge impact on the economy, environment and human health. The calls for ensuring energy security for India and therefore the emphasis of the government is to reduce important dependence, the uses of fossil fuels and the environmental pollution issues, driving a strategic role for biofuels in the Indian energy basket. We are consistently taking necessary steps to decarbonize the transport sector by reducing the harmful greenhouse gas emissions. We are committed to adopt import substitute, cost-effective, indigenous and pollution-free modes of transport in the country. Till now, India has made significant progress towards improving green energy access while increasing the integration of renewable energy. And our agriculture is our real strength and we are intended to diversify it into the energy and power sector. India's fuel energy security can be well supported by agriculture. It provides opportunities for concepts such as waste to wealth and waste to energy and ultimately leading to the benefit of all. These targets will be achieved through a 5-phase strategy which includes adopting biofuels and renewables, implementing energy efficiency norms, improving refinery processes, increasing domestic production, and achieving demand substitutions. This strategy uses a strategic role for biofuels in the Indian energy basket. The announcement on advancing of the target year for 20% ethanol blending for 5 years to 2025 and 5% blending of biodiesel in a diesel by 2030, directing oil companies to sell 20% ethanol blended petrol from April 1, 2023 and BS specification for higher ethanol blends. E12 and E15 gives an indication the importance that government gives to biofuels and alternative source of energy. Particularly for ethanol, I always make it a point to highlight the success story of how Brazil has managed to effectively utilize blends of ethanol and even flex engines. Our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji has recently launched 300% ethanol pumps and the Petroleum Ministry has now given permission to set up many such dispensing units to private entities. My vision is that with the surplus sugar, rice and maize, India can completely transform the fuel landscape in India by introducing a circular economy of ethanol. Ethanol not only reduces the greenhouse gas emissions, but also diverts the additional income towards farmers, and this is very important, which will help the rural sector to increase per capita income, GDP and agriculture growth rate in the area. The Brazil and India are two nations with lot of commonalities, especially when we have constraints of resources, For development activities, it is always preferable to empower the rural and backward section of the society and make them prosperous. Brazil is a nation with the highest ethanol consumption at 47% of auto cycle fuel, and hence the complete world can adopt the Brazilian model for ethanol uptake. Also, according to a report from December 2020, the flex fuel cars in Brazil accounted to 83% of total light vehicle fleet. Brazil has also made 27% of fuel blend mandatory since 2015, which is a very, very commendable step. As a result of all these efforts in Brazil, ethanol was able to successfully substitute 3.29 billion barrels of gasoline between 1975 to 2020, giving a net saving a 607 billion US dollar. This is a great achievement. I recognize Minister for your efforts and giving thanks that you are giving new vision to the world. The import substitution is a powerful concept. It allows for uses of funds towards multiple developmental activities which can completely eradicate the poverty. Ethanol has this capacity to drive the growth of rural agriculture income with an added advantage of reducing harmful vehicular emissions. Ethanol's high octane level also complements gasoline and thus enables to the use of lower cost blend feedstocks. In a way, use of more ethanol is a blessing in disguise for automobile companies. It helps them to meet most restrictive CO2 emissions, for which there are stringent norms such as CAFE regulations. And I was recently given a presentation by the president of Brazilian Institute of Bioenergy and Bioeconomy, and I was told that how hybrid engines or flex engines with a mix of petrol, flex and electric can drastically reduce vehicular greenhouse gas emissions. The cradle to grave approach, which means that the complete life cycle of the fuel up to its emission matters a lot. By this approach, I was told that the Euro 6 equivalent petrol engine emits 127 grams of carbon dioxide emissions as compared to hybrid flex ethanol based engine which emits only 29 grams, which is 77% decrease in emissions. This is a very powerful fact, and this can be lead us towards drafting policies and incentives for mass uptake of hybrid flex engines. India is committed to an eminently achievable clean energy based economy through an annual roadmap for production supply of ethanol till 2025-26 and system for its country-wide marketing. The GST Council in India reduced the tax rate from 12% to 5% on biodiesel sold to oil marketing corporations for blending with diesel. Our Petroleum Ministry announced simplified regulations for authorization of bulk and retail marketing of fuel such as petrol and diesel, and has mandated for alternative fuel stations on of new dispensing units. Our government has invited all private companies, including PSUs, to work in the sector when they can even import LNG. LNG as a fuel is economically viable for long-run trucks and buses. I have inaugurated India's first commercial LNG pump in Nagpur. The economics is so good that the cost of conversion is rupees 10 lakh, and which can be recovered in 295 days with an average of 5 km per hour. LNG has a potential future in the country, and it is gaining prominence as a fuel of choice for long-haul transport. Our government is committed to reducing logistic cost by promoting and adopting clean and green technology to save ecology of the environment, and we are rapidly shifting our public transport fleet on green fuels like bio-CNG, ethanol, methanol, electricity and green hydrogen, as this will provide the citizens some respite from surging petrol prices by utilizing alternative fuels. Also, it is required that the transport vehicles are modernized to save on the fuel bill and also contribute to the economy and pollution reduction. To this effect, my ministry is in talks with automakers for flex engines and for using biodiesel, electric and LNG is the construction equipment industry. We will soon announce a policy for flex fuel engine, and this policy will encourage automobile manufacturers to produce such engines. I have also launched the first ever agriculture tractor run on bio-CNG, and the economic allows saving of rupees 1 lakh per Indian farmer per year. We can make bio-CNG from biomass like rice straw, cotton straw, wheat straw, and even for municipal waste also we can make bio-CNG, and that is going to give a new economy to the municipal solid waste management and liquid waste management. Even we can make methane from liquid waste available in the municipal corporation, and where we can make bio-CNG from that. We will make CO2, make it different from, make it, we can make it CO2, and use of CO2 is also a value addition. We have a lot of technology available that we can make ethanol and methanol from CO2. So it's a big challenge. You should take one workshop on what is the value addition in CO2. That can be a great thing for the country, that if you can convert CO2 value added into the new products. So here we can make from methane bio-CNG, and we can bifurcate CO2 from that, and that bio-CNG we can use for buses and particularly the vehicles for which are going up to 250 to 300 kilometers per day, for the municipal corporation transport, the cars and everything, and the tractors. This is very important. We are also working shift intercity bus fleets under state road transport undertaking on alternate fuels. These would provide multiple benefits to farmers, the transport sector, the environment and the economy. To support the expansion of this magnitude in alternate fuel and renewable energy, the government has been making all efforts to strengthen and expand the complete bioenergy sector to make India self-reliant. Initiatives like production-linked incentives have been taken to promote the domestic manufacturing industry and to encourage public-private partnership where the private capital can be harnessed for better public transport. As expected, we are gaining good momentum in the electric vehicle ecosystem in the country. There is a good response for battery-operated small electric vehicles like a scooter, electric three-wheelers, e-rickshaw, e-cars and e-bikes in the country. We are specifically focusing research on alternative battery chemistry such as sodium ion, zinc ion technology. The government is promoting the use of renewable energies such as solar, tidal and wind to change the electric vehicles. We have abundant solar energy. Solar generated electricity charges are very low and ensure a zero carbon emission cycle in electric vehicle in ecosystem. As we all know that the green hydrogen is made by splitting water using renewable power over time. The green hydrogen as an energy carrier can replace some of our energy imports. Green hydrogen is a zero carbon fuel and sustainable alternative to coal, oil and gas based energy sources. 70% of green hydrogen production cost come from electricity cost. Hence, we have emphasis surplus electricity from renewable energy sources which can enhance green hydrogen production economics also, and there is a huge potential for that. The green hydrogen will be an ideal power source for energy intensive industries like refining, steel, cement, fertilizer, mining and industrial heating. Our government has already announced a national hydrogen energy mission where about $110 million has been set aside to establish hydrogen-based energy ecosystem in the country. We are focusing on the development of technology for the production of hydrogen and e-fuels, and we are specifically focusing research on production of green hydrogen from non-conventional sources such as sewage water. India is focusing on hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle technology exclusively for heavy long distance trucks, buses, marine and aviation application. We are also planning to run a railway, metro and long-term intercity buses on green hydrogen. Both battery electric vehicle and fuel cell vehicle technologies are complementary to each other, and we are all set to overtake fossil run automotive by 2050 in the country. For the production and dispensing of hydrogen, we are working on the development of low-cost electrolyzer technology, as India is a highly cost-conscious market and there are huge expectations of rapid reduction in the cost of electrolyzers and also fuel cells. Piloting of HCNG, hydrogen blended with CNG, is also going on, and it will help the transport sector learning to handle hydrogen. We have performed successful pilots in Delhi for SCNG with 18% blending, and we have observed huge reduction in emissions. Brazil and India can work on the research and development of biofuel-based fuel cell technology, and we have surplus ethanol and biomass production, which can be used as a source of energy by large using appropriate technology. Another area where we can extend our cooperation is the retrofitment technology of older gasoline vehicles into electric or CNG or LNG. The large number of commercial vehicles, trucks, buses are needed to convert into alternative fuel compatible engine vehicle at affordable cost. I sincerely hope that all our mutual initiatives and efforts would bring revolution in the global transport sector. Finally, I must reiterate that our government is fully committed to making India a self-reliant India. Our focus is to build a world-class, cost-effective and efficient bioeconomy base to make India and Indian industry global competitive. Actually, our size of our automobile industry is 7,50,000 crore. My idea is to make it up to 15 lakh crore industry in 5 years. And this is the industry which is giving majority tax revenue for the government, creating employment potential, and we are expecting having huge export of automobile components and cars. The all prestigious world-class automobile brands are present in India. By using this new technology, we are opening new gateway of development to the country. With these few words, I once again thank Mr. Marcos Pontis. Really, you are a role model, your country is a role model as far as the ethanol is concerned. I always inspired and motivated by your successful experiments. I always giving reference a successful experiment Brazil to the people of our country. When I talking with the farmers, I always giving the example of the Brazil. So you are the world leader in ethanol. I will appreciate your guidance, your cooperation, and we will make more collaboration. And also I giving my special thanks, and I will suggest you that you should take the initiative to have a more interaction, cooperation, and at the same time we can make win-win situation for both the country with the automobile industry, the association like SIOM, and also with the ministries like the Transport Ministry, Petroleum Ministry, and we need to take more initiative in this field because this is going to be a great contribution as per the climate change is concerned. And air pollution, water pollution, sound pollution is a big problem. You are all in Delhi. You know what type of reputation we have about the Delhi in the whole world. Our city is supposed to be one of the highest polluted city in the world. This is not the good thing. Now we are planning to take all container depot, godowns, repelling plant, cold storage, fruit, vegetable wholesale markets on the peripheral ring road. And we are making the road construction of 60,000 crore near to Delhi to reduce the pollution. And if we can take using the successful experiment of Brazil, we will reduce the air pollution in Delhi and we will increase the reputation as far as the ecology and environment is concerned that Delhi is free from all type of pollution. That is really a very, very important task and agenda for all of us and also for CI and people like you. Your initiative is really, really very good. The subject is very much touching to my heart. I am giving my special thanks to you and also the thanks to Honorable Minister of Brazil. It's really a great pleasure for me to interact with him. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Sustainability, we see the passion, we see the knowledge, we see your vision, and we feel excited. We feel ourselves extremely, extremely well guided, and we commit once again to work with you under your leadership to really take